We begin this hour with a look at Donald Trump's future home, the White House. In about an hour, the president-elect will meet there with President Obama. It's all part of the smoothing over months of campaign insults and making way for a new administration. Hi, everyone. I'm Anne-Marie Green.
And I'm Vladimir Duthiers. Right now, Trump is in the air. He left New York City moments ago. Here you see him boarding and actually on his way to his private plane at LaGuardia Airport in New York City. His meeting with President Obama signifies the beginning of a roughly 2-month process of the transfer of power. Here with us is Kevin Sheridan. He is a CBSN political contributor and the former communications director for Paul Ryan's 2012 vice presidential bid. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Recovered?
I'm getting there.
Getting there. All right, Kevin. So President-elect Trump and Obama are meeting today. It's been a contentious last couple of months. What do you think is going to happen once they sit down and they start talking?
Some of it's just ceremonial, and it always happens. This is a particularly weird meeting because these two people do not like each other. I expect they'll both show some grace, some deference to the office. This is the biggest job in the world, and very few people know what it's like to assume that that position. So I think, I think Barack Obama will give him some friendly advice probably, and Donald Trump will just show some grace. I don't know what else they can really discuss today.
Are there cameras there, or is it a private meeting? Do you know how these?
I believe there's a photo spray, but it's a private meeting. So in a year of extraordinary moments, that would be the most extraordinary moment to see those two in the same room together. The clash of two egos.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Another meeting planned for today may be awkward, not as awkward, but a little bit awkward, is Paul Ryan meeting with Pence and Trump
not awkward
today,
at all.
right? Not awkward at all, but it's not like it's been a smooth relationship. So, what you know him very well. What do you think he would want to get accomplished in this meeting?
Well, I think they're going to start framing what his first 100 days look like. Mm-hmm. I think Paul Ryan already has a very good relationship with the Vice President-elect Pence,
right.
And they know each other very well. And I think they could start framing what does he want to get accomplished. Nobody really knows. We didn't spend the last month talking about what Donald Trump really wants to do in any great detail. We know he wants to secure the border. We know he may want to do corporate tax reform and trade that for infrastructure spending. So if they want to start talking about that, this would be the time to do it. And they'll continue to. They've already talked at least 3-4 times since he was elected, and I think they're going to start framing out what his first 100 days look like.
Right.
Kevin, there are clearly some things that Speaker Ryan's agenda that he wants President Trump to address, and there's probably a good sense that they will be able to accomplish that. On the other hand, Donald Trump has said that he wants to impose, for example, congressional term limits. He's talked about draining the swamp, meaning getting rid of some of these career politicians who all they've ever done is hold office. Could we see some clashes there?
Yeah, I think the Republican Party is not unified on term limits. There's a lot of thinking that term limits are actually bad because they just encourage people to get in and get out and then go make money, and they just stick around D.C. anyway. So, there's something to be said for people having actual experience.
But that's the other side of the argument.
Right. Yeah. That's the other side of the argument. I don't know where everybody in Congress is on that. I'd be surprised if that's one of the things that he pursues first, but maybe he does. I don't know that he'll have a lot of support for it, but we'll just have to see what he's first.
I mean, drain the swamp. That was the
right. And you brought up something that is an area of concern as he fills out his cabinet. We are talking a lot about surrogates, people that he's trusted and used throughout the campaign that are their names are being floated. But there is something to be said for experience. Throughout this campaign, a number of high-profile Republicans, not to mention national security advisors, some of the smartest minds in this country, have signed documents saying that they felt that he was unfit to be president. Is he going to be able to find people to fill out some very key positions that have experience?
They've been working on this, I think, for months, and they've been trying to identify people who could potentially fill jobs all up and down the government. There's 3,000 or more political appointments that he's going to have to make, in addition to the major appointments of the cabinet. And the Supreme Court. So he's got a lot of things to do in the first, in these next 2 months. I think it'll be interesting to see which establishment Republicans will take the call from the president-elect and say, yes, I'll go serve with you, I'll work for you. That will be an interesting development to see who will do it. We've got a unified government now for the first time, a unified Republican Congress. and pretty soon a Supreme Court. And this is just unprecedented that we could actually get things done. So I think some people who have been critical of him in the past may come over and actually serve.
Right.
That's something we've been talking about. I mean, on one hand, experience counts. We've heard, even according to Politico, that Sarah Palin is being bandied as somebody who could be Interior Secretary. Okay. Anyway, what about those folks who said, I don't think that Donald Trump has a temperament to be president of the United States. I'm talking specifically national security folks, but who have this experience, this ton of experience.
50 national security people signed a letter saying.
I don't know that he has a lot of.
Yeah,
I don't think he's sweating it a lot that those people don't think he's fit to serve, because he blames them for the mess in the Middle East. And he would do well though to take some advice from the people who know this stuff the best. But he's going to have to chart his own course here. He came in, he rode a wave of populism. Now he has to govern. Let's see who he gets to govern with him.
Really fascinating.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. One last name, Chris Christie. He's embroiled in this Bridgegate scandal. Do you see? I mean, he's there on stage with him when he made that victory speech.
And he's part of the transition team now, right?
He's sort of in charge of doling out these jobs.
I think he might be best for an internal job, a chief of staff. He wouldn't have to get Senate confirmation for that. So if his troubles with Bridgegate continue, you might see something internal. There's a number of positions that inside the White House, Valerie Jarrett didn't have to get confirmed, I don't believe. I think you can be a close, trusted advisor. You can run the White House as a chief of staff without those appointments being confirmed by the Senate, and I would think that that's probably more likely.
What about Reince Priebus?
Yeah, whatever he wants to do. I think he's going to be in a position to go into the government in a big way. He may want to stay at the RNC. I mean, he was overlooked. A lot of people thought that what he was doing was a mistake and that we should have, done emergency rules to get Trump out of there. Look, he played his cards right, and now he's in a position to do whatever Trump wants him to do.
Well, and to that, because you raised an interesting question, Reince Priebus, he goes into a Trump administration. There are reports that Corey Lewandowski could be RNC chairman. Do you see that happening?
Well, you have to get, look, you're going to have to get the RNC members to agree to anything that the president wants. But traditionally, you get your pick.
The president does?
The president gets his pick, and the RNC members go along with it. If they think Corey Lewandowski, though, is too controversial for some reason, maybe they buck that. But I really don't know his relationship with those 168 members, and we just have to see. Corey Lewandowski is clearly going to play some role. He's probably going to be leaving CNN again and going back into whatever administration job he wants. And look, all these guys deserve credit. Nobody thought they could do it. And Donald Trump surprised everybody, and so he gets his picks now.
He certainly did. CBSN political contributor Kevin Sheridan, we thank you, sir.
Thank you.